Today I'm going to introduce 6 laws of stray dogs. A stray dog is any dog which is running free in a public place without its owner being present. The law requires, under the Environmental Protection Act 1990, local councils to treat all unaccompanied dogs on public land as strays regardless of whether they are wearing a collar and disc or have been microchipped. The council must seize such dogs, and if they cannot be returned immediately to their owner, they must be taken to the council's stray pounds where they are held for a mandatory period of 7 days. After the 7th period, the dog legally becomes the property of the kennels, and the kennel can either rehome the dog to a new owner, keep the dog at the kennels, or following veterinary advice, put the dog to sleep. Also, it is no longer the responsibility of the police to accept stray dogs, and they should not be taken to police stations. Furthermore, if your dog doesn't have a collar and tag, you can be prosecuted and fined up to $5,000. The owner commits this offense even if a dog has been microchipped. A dog doesn't have to bite someone to be deemed dangerous. If the owner is convicted, they can receive a fine of up to $5,000 or up to 6 months in prison. The police have the duty to investigate all reports of dangerous dogs. Additionally, it is illegal to allow your dog to fall in a public place and not clean up after it. A dog owner who lets their dog out of the room must take responsibility for it, and the council has a strong enforcement policy for dealing with problems caused by irresponsible dog owners. Dog found straying can be seized by dog vendors, and fixed penalty notice may be issued by dog vendors, street vendors, police officers, police community support officers, or council enforcement officers, and the owner prosecuted. Stray dogs are not only a danger to themselves, but can be a risk or cause nuisance to members of the public.
A new law, animal banning euthanasia, is set to take force in Taiwan. It comes almost a year after a shocking suicide. Last year, Miss Jen took her own life using the same drugs used to put down animals. Miss Jen worked as shelter for abandoned dogs in Taoyuan City. Once time in an interview, she described the first time she saw an animal put down. "I went home and cried all night," she said. However, she had to put down 700 dogs in 2 years. She was labeled the beautiful slaughter. In the letter she left behind, she said she wanted to let people understand what happened to strays in Taiwan.
Today I'm going to talk about euthanasia. The term is derived from the Greek word euthanatos, which means easy death. The primary purpose of euthanasia is to relieve suffering. The decision to follow this option will be based on an assessment of many factors. These may include the extent and the nature of the disease or injuries, other treatment options, the availability and likelihood of success of treatment, the animal's age, health status, and the ability of the owner to pay for private treatment. Most killing of animals in shelters and pounds across the country is now accomplished through injection of a lethal dose of barbiturate, usually sodium pentobarbital. After the solution is injected into the vein or sometimes, depending on the type of animal, into the heart, the animal slips almost immediately into unconsciousness and then dies. This procedure, called EBI, stands for euthanasia by injection. In shelter lingo, is considered by veterinarians and animal advocates to be the most humane method of killing these animal inmates.
I'm going to talk about TNR, which is the mainstream strategy Taiwanese government is taking to deal with stray animals after banning euthanasia. TNR, sometimes known as TNVR, stands for trap, neuter, vaccinate, and return. Actually, there are two different strategies of neutering a stray animal. The first one is to remove their uterus and tie their van deferens, while the second one is to remove the whole set of uterus, ovarian, and testicles. The later one is actually more preferred and suggested by foreign scholars, as the animals will be prevented from reproductive system diseases and also decrease their hormone. In this case, the infertile animals will be more stable as sexual receptivity is avoided. However, the TNR measure hasn't successfully resolved the problem of stray animals on the street. Further supporting measures such as precision on capturing the problematic animals and educational work afterwards are still required.